All right. On today's podcast, I welcome on a very special guest, the head coach of Brown University, Coach James Perry. Coach, how are you today?
Great. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate your time. How are you doing during these COVID times?
Well, yeah, it's been wild. It's an unprecedented time, but I've been really proud of how the kids are handling it. We all miss football, but the kids are getting through it and doing a really nice job of making the best of a tough situation, and look forward to this fall.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, hopefully things will get back to normal this fall and we'll start to see some football eventually get going, right?
Yeah. So for us, just being with them, even if it's just some practices in some modified format, given the fact that we canceled the competition phase of the season, it'll still be good to be around the kids.
Yeah, that's good, and get back on the field, and that's a football guy kind of thing to say, right?
Yep.
Coach, before we jump into talk about Brown football and everything, but I want to get back into your background of like, how did you get started playing football?
Yeah. So for me, I grew up in Andover, Mass, not far away from Providence. I'm the youngest of 7 kids. All my brothers played ball, and my dad was a track coach actually, but I always was exposed to it. And my older brothers, all pretty well accomplished players themselves, and fell in love with it when I was really young, and here I am, still involved.
That's awesome. Do your brothers coach at all?
Yeah, one of my brothers, John, is the wide receiver coach for the Houston Texans, and my oldest brother, EJ, is a high school football coach at our hometown, which is Andover High School.
Oh wow, that's really cool. That's awesome. So football runs through the blood of the family. That's
Yep.
really cool. And what you played for Brown, so but what was your process of recruiting for college football, and what was your decision to go to Brown like?
Sure. Coming out, I went to Malden Catholic, which is a Catholic school north of Boston. And, coming out of Malden Catholic, I was lucky. The brothers did a terrific job with education, and had done pretty well academically. So Brown was an option for me. And I fell in love with the school. At the time, the head coach was a guy named Mark Whipple, who really loved to throw the football around a lot. So it was a perfect fit.
That's awesome. And what was it like to come into Brown University and then help put Brown University football on the map?
Yeah, so at that point, we hadn't won a championship in a little while, and it was fun to be a part of a senior class that would end up seeing that through. And for me, I often think back at how the stars were aligned properly. I had some really great teammates, and eventually Coach Estes, who I succeeded as the head coach, was my coach, terrific coach, person, all those things. So that was a lot of fun in my all 4 years, but in particular the 99 championship season.
That's awesome. I know that's crazy that you were able to, help bring a championship to Brown, and, but when you finished, you left Brown as an all-time leader and in passing yards and season total career touchdowns. Like, what is that feeling like? Because your passing yards were over 3,000, your career total yards were 9,000. Completions for career were 709, and you had 6 touchdowns in a game during one regular season. So what's that like? What's that feeling like? You're like, it sounds like you're like a cheat code in a video game almost.
Yeah, well, it was a lot of fun, and meeting those teammates and having played at Brown. It's kind of a lifelong thing. But I get more joy now. The guys that I coach, I've coached a succession of quarterbacks in this league, have done really well. Some record breakers in their own right. Most recently, my nephew now holds the Ivy League all-time yardage record this past fall. So that was fun for me. That's my oldest brother's boy, and awesome to coach him. And I loved playing, but now that I get to coach some of these quarterbacks, I can tell you they're a hell of a lot better than I ever was, and certainly EJ is.
That's awesome. And like, what's it like, kind of like passing down your knowledge to these kids when you're coaching as well?
Yeah, it's that's for me, that's what I'm going to miss this fall the most.
Yeah.
Is having a chance to work with them. You know, being around the kids, you know, is the most fun thing that any guy could ever do. So I'm really, really lucky to be a football coach. And now we'll have to find other ways to reach and connect and, you know, and do the things that we love, which is make those guys better. So, and we will. You know, we'll face this challenge, and whether it's virtual teaching or some of the fitness things we'll be able to do this fall, we'll do those things well too, because it's a rewarding job.
Yeah, definitely. It really is. It sounds like you really love it, and you're super passionate about coaching, and that's awesome. That's great that Brown has a coach like you. They're very lucky to have you. But you know, when you got into coaching, what was the transition like going from a player to a coach?
Yeah, you know, for me, I've worked and been able to watch a lot of great coaches. So whether it's, you know, I started as a kind of volunteer at Dartmouth. I worked at a Division III school called Williams College under one of the all-time best coaches named Dick Farley. And then I was a graduate assistant at Maryland. So I was able to kind of experience a big gambit there from Division III ball to FBS, University of Maryland, right?
Yeah.
And I always kind of gravitated back to the Ivy League because I just believe in it as a way to do things. So that's how I got my start, and I kind of gravitated back. And now most of my 21 years has been spent in this league.
That's awesome. And what was, you know, the feeling of being able to become the head coach of your alma mater?
Well, it was amazing. You know, I met my wife in '98. We were undergrads together. She's a year behind me, class of 2001. But so it was crazy, you know, just coming back to Brown. We have 3 kids. When I worked for Coach Estes, I was an assistant 10 years ago. We lived right in Providence, so we had our first child. And, you know, so Brown's always been really special to the whole family, my wife, myself, the kids. So coming back, it's really a dream job. And it's been exactly that. In spite of COVID and some of the challenges right now, it's been a great experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like I mentioned, Brown is very lucky to have you, because just by talking to you through this interview, like just going over, it just seems like you just want to be with the kids and help them succeed and make, you know, change that culture at Brown and make it a winning culture. You know, what's it like when you come into a program to help flip the culture? You know, like Brown's had some woes in the past.
Yeah, sure. You know, I think what was nice for me when I talked to the players, having played at Brown and been an assistant at Brown, and in both those cases won a championship, you know, it's easy to go back to something that you know is in our blood. You know, obviously the last 2 years prior to my, you know, becoming the head coach were tough years, but we've had some great stretches, and I think the kids responded well to the message that we're really returning to something that Brown football does very well, which is win. And then the other thing is, I think the kids have embraced, we're a play fast operation. Fitness and getting in shape, playing fast, running, those are key ingredients to what makes us who we are. So I think the kids have had fun with that. You know, it's playing fast is kind of a fun way to play. So I've kind of tried to capitalize on that as another way to get the kids going. And when we do take the field again, we'll be ready to compete for a championship.
That's great. That's awesome. And then what do you mean by play fast? Is that like the Chip Kelly kind of offense, like where you guys want to like just get on the field? Like
you nailed it.
That's awesome.
So Chip and my brother both went to New Hampshire, and there's a lot of, I borrow tremendously. Now this would probably be, oh wow, that's like 11 years ago now. But when this first was starting and I was becoming an offensive coordinator, that was exactly who I was borrowing a lot of this from. Is Chip, and then now I've extended to every phase of the game. So a lot of people associate it with no huddle. For us, it's special teams, defense, offense. Every player, every phase of the game, we want to play fast.
That's awesome. That's really cool. They got it on all sides of the ball. They want everyone to play fast and make those tackles and, you know, be quick. That's great. You don't really see it on the other side of the balls too much.
Yep, we're trying.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's awesome. And how do you feel with the coronavirus? Unfortunately, with everything that's going on, and I feel like Ivy League is always the one that set the precedent. Just even with March Madness, they did it this year. I mean, yeah, with the conference play this year, they canceled their tournament and everything. What's it like for them to push back the fall sports, and what's that feeling like for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, well, for us, the good thing for us is I know we tried to do everything we could to play.
Yeah.
Very supportive administration. If there was a path forward, if we were trying our hardest to get those kids on the field and play games. When we determined that it wasn't, we switched gears. And the rest of the country, I hope other people find ways to play in different areas of the country, different scenarios that make sense for them. But I know for us, we did everything we could. Once it was clear, and it was clear that we weren't going to be able to play this fall, we just switched gears. And I've been really proud of how the kids have handled it very maturely. And now we'll attack being in shape and fitness and health. And then, before you know it, we'll be out there playing again. Just won't be this fall.
Yeah, that'd be great. Are you guys allowed to even be on the field together? Any workouts together, or how's that work?
Yeah, so we'll have some practices this fall. It'll look very, very different than a football practice typically has. There's size restrictions and there's numbers and how we'll do it. But for us, health, fitness, playing fast, it all kind of goes together. So even though we may not be having a football practice, we'll still get a lot of football related activity out of it, and we'll be a better program
That's awesome. That's really great. And you think with this whole the coronavirus and doing those football practices, do you think that builds more of a camaraderie with you guys? Just as a team, you're facing this all together. It's just not it's not just one person.
Yeah, it can. I think that the challenge is the frustration.
Yeah.
They want to play ball, so they want to run, they want to tackle, they want to score the touchdown. If you can control your emotions, that's a big ask for an 18 to 22-year-old. But
yeah.
When you get football taken away from you from a game perspective, and there's still a lot of positives. And then we'll look at how we, attack a COVID environment as a team, and we will be better for it. So no doubt. But there'll be some challenges too. So we're ready for those challenges, and we'll be better.
That's great. That's awesome. And what do you think your outlook for the season will be if you guys are able to play?
So the next time we hit the field, I think the program just keeps getting better. I'm really excited about how we're injecting new freshmen into the group. Our roster is just developing and getting better each kind of phase of the year. So next time we hit the ground, we're going to be running and we'll be ready to play. So that I know. I mean, we'll be a better program. We already are a better program right now than we were a year ago. And the next time that we hit the field, we'll be better still.
That's awesome. That's great. Brown, like I had mentioned, keep saying, but Brown's very lucky. It's awesome to see a coach so passionate about their craft and, want to help win and put a winning culture at Brown University. It's going to be great to see you guys win some championships and, make Hall of Fame moves and everything like that.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I appreciate your time. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We'll be ready to go next time we hit the ground running.
Yeah, Coach, I'll be at a couple games. You can definitely see me when things are get going and stuff like that. And it'll be great to see you guys play.
Awesome. Well, best of luck.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Take it easy.
Good.
All right. Bye-bye.